Welcome to your Aged Care Compass podcast. Join us to find out how to support your older loved ones at home. We're going to help you make sense of Australia's aged care system. We talk about legal and financial considerations for ageing and how chronic health conditions impact your older loved ones' well-being. And we share real-life stories of where it went wrong for people and how we got them back on track.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. What's the difference between a support plan and a care plan? A person who has been assessed by either the entry-level assessment team, the Regional Assessment Service, or RAS, or the Aged Care Assessment Team, the ACAT, will have a support plan, or they should. A person who is receiving a home care package will then have a care plan, or they should. Coral and I are going to chat about these two different plans today and tell you what the plans mean and their relevance to your care. Coral, could you explain in a little more detail what a support plan is?
The support plan is a summary of a person's assessment by either the RAS or the ACAT shell. It will have the Australian government logo at the top of the document, as well as the My Aged Care logo too. At the top right of the document, the words support plan will be clearly visible. The support plan summarises the assessment. It begins with an introduction, followed by the situation, then background, and then assessment findings. Then there is a recommendation. This initial part of the document is usually 2 pages, and it is a descriptive account of how the person's background and their current presentation. The support plan will then follow on with further detail about the concerns, goals, and recommendations as assessed by the assessor.
How much personal information is documented in the support plan, Coral? Could a person be worried it will reveal very private information?
The support plan doesn't go into detail with information that would be considered private, Shell. It could go into detail about a person's needs and goals that would align with the kind of support they'd potentially receive from their home care package, though.
So what type of recommendations would be included in the support plan?
The recommendations are usually the approvals the assessor is granting. So approval for, say, the short-term restorative care program or a home care package. Then they go into further detail with the areas of concern, the goals, and the strategies to achieve those goals. The area of concern might be, I'm getting weaker over time and can't do what I want to do at home. The goal would then be, I'd like to work on my health and strength and get back on my feet and keep my independence at home. There would be noted strengths and abilities below this comment, such as I can complete light housework or I attend a group exercise class. So some recognition of the limitations or the challenges that the person is facing in meeting their activities of their daily living. And then a couple of notes about what kind of help they might be getting or what community groups or what they might be participating in that is currently supporting them.
Right.
Following on from that, the strategies to achieve the goals section would detail service recommendations such as home maintenance or a home care package at level 2 or short-term restorative care. So the strategies then, that's the formal part of the recommendation, which equates to the approvals that the assessor is granting.
Okay. And Coral, could you now explain what a care plan is and where it fits into the older person's support at home?
A care plan is a document that's developed by the provider of the home care package, Shell, in conjunction with the recipient of the package at the point where the person chooses their provider. A provider who offers a fully managed model or a self-managed package provider must create a care plan with the recipient when the person signs up with them. The care plan should be informed by the support plan. However, the care plan should expand on the person's needs, considering the time frame from ACAT assessment to assignment of the package. Right now that can be up to a year.
Yeah.
So the information in the support plan at assessment and approval is important, but over the course of the year that person has been waiting to be assigned their home care package, the person's needs may have changed significantly. So the care plan needs to reflect the current needs of the older person.
Okay. And again, what sort of information should be given when the care plan is being developed?
Lots of information. The more information provided, the better understanding the provider will have of the older person's needs. The more information that is included in the care plan, the easier it will make it for your provider to say yes when you ask to receive a service or use your package funding for a purchase, such as equipment. For example, if a person had impaired mobility, the care plan should include reference to an occupational therapist assessment for mobility aids or receiving physiotherapy or exercise physiology to prescribe exercise to regain strength. The care plan should note things such as difficulty getting to the toilet on time, which is incontinence, because if you ask to purchase continence aids with the package funding and there is no reference to incontinence in the care plan, your provider is likely to then ask for evidence, such as a continence review. So rather than your provider say, yes, straight up, you can use your package funding to purchase your continence aids, they'll say something like, well, this wasn't included in the care plan that we drafted last year. What's changed? Do we need to review the care plan? And potentially suggest that you get a continence review to prescribe the kind of continence aids that you need. So it can cause some delay between when you're seeking the package funding to cover that purchase of the continence aids, and then you'll have to wait, for a continence advisor or registered nurse to complete that continence assessment. Then you'll have to wait for that report to get written and go back to the provider. And then the provider will include that in the care plan and that will satisfy them. And they'll say, yes, we've included in the care plan. We can see that the evidence is there. Yes, you are fine to go and purchase the continence aids from your package funding.
Right. So, yeah, it causes delays.
Delay.
Yeah. And does it cost anything to have a support plan or a care plan done?
No, it doesn't.
And are either of these plans, so the care plan or the support plan, are they the sort of thing that is done once and then put on file, so to speak?
No, a support plan review happens as needed. So if a person was needing more services and needed to move from entry level to home care package level, the Regional Assessment Service or RAS assessor would complete a support plan review and either provide more referral codes or approvals for entry level services, or they'd refer onto the ACAT for assessment for a home care package. The ACAT completes a support plan review when people need to move up to the next level of home care package, or if the person needs a change in their priority at approval, say being approved at a high priority, which is up from a medium priority, which means that the wait time to receive the home care package will reduce. A care plan should be reviewed by the package provider at minimum yearly. The care plan should also be reviewed at any significant change in the person's health or well-being that necessitates increased or varied service provision. So there's no hard and fast rule, but at the bare minimum, a provider should be reviewing the care plan each year. But certainly if circumstances change, and particularly if the funding is being exhausted and it's evident that a level 2 package is not enough to meet the person's needs, the care plan should certainly be reviewed, and that would form part of the evidence for going back to the ACAT and the person then getting a support plan review and going up to a higher level of home care package.
FlexiCare is a not-for-profit organisation which supports older people living in Brisbane's southern suburbs to live their best lives in their own homes and communities. FlexiCare don't have grand plans to be the biggest aged care provider. They want to be known for treating each one of their participants as an individual who they get to know well. They answer their phone calls personally when clients ring them. They give their clients easy access to a home care partner who can work with them to deliver the best mix of support possible. If you're in Brisbane South and want to know more, give their friendly team a call on 07 3422 8400 or check out their website flexi.org.au. Right. And Coral, who asks for a review?
Well, for a support plan review, you or the older person can ask for it, or your provider can ask for it. Typically, if a person is receiving entry-level services, they would ask for a support plan review because there is no coordinator of services at entry level. So the older person themselves or their family member or their family carer would be initiating that support plan review. But if you receive a home care package, your provider should be aware of your increasing needs and speak with you about referring to the ACAT via My Aged Care for a support plan review. So just reiterating that point, you can certainly initiate this conversation with your provider, but don't expect your provider to automatically be aware of your increased needs. And this is particularly relevant to people who self-manage their home care package.
Yep. So providing all the information at the time of assessment and not trying to gloss over your ability to maintain your independence at home is advisable?
Yes. If you don't go into detail when you're being assessed, you may not reveal exactly what your needs are, and you'll end up being approved for less support than you really need. You are not helping yourself if you don't reveal all the challenges you're having in meeting your activities of daily living.
And Coral, it's hard for very stoic and proud older people to ask for help, isn't it? I'd like to say here that it's not failure to ask for help. It's sensible and will allow them to maintain their independence at home for as long as possible.
Yes, that's right, Shell. There are no prizes for being stoic, and you'll disadvantage yourself if you don't reveal the full extent of how challenging it is becoming for you at home. On that note, it's also essential to highlight how much informal support the older person is receiving. Relying more and more on family and friends for things like paying the bills, transport, grocery shopping, cleaning, and meals reveals a level of care. When being assessed, it's important to tell the assessor how much informal support is being provided, as this will indicate to the assessor how much support you need on a regular basis.
And Coral, people tell us they're reluctant to disclose to their provider all their health issues. What do you think about this?
Well, I encourage people to share their health issues, including any diagnosed condition, as this helps inform a detailed care plan. Health issues and diagnosed conditions reveal how a person might struggle with being independent and indicate what kind of support they'll need to remain at home. As a registered nurse, I want that detail, as I can then reasonably predict the trajectory for the person and anticipate what their needs will be in the coming weeks, months, or years.
Yep. With both the support plan and the care plan, who can offer information or input into them?
Anyone can, Shell, relative, of course, to the person being assessed or interviewed for their care plan. But remember, at assessment with either the RAS or the ACAT, the window of opportunity to contribute is very tight. It's essential that anyone wanting to offer information at an assessment should be involved in the actual assessment. It's too late if you want to follow up with an assessor a week after the assessment has been completed, because the assessor will have finalised that assessment. At ACAT level, it's probably been delegated and the approvals will be in place, and essentially that person's file will be closed. So it's virtually impossible to go back after that happens and contact the ACAT and say, oh, really sorry, but forgot something last week at assessment. Can you include that now? It's just not going to happen.
Okay. And does the information given in a care plan affect what services and supports a person can access via their home care package funding?
Yes, it does. So remember, the more detail included in the care plan, the greater flexibility a person has to change the services or support as their needs change. If it's not in the care plan, it's harder to ask for and be approved for services from the provider.
Right. And if I wanted a support plan review, what information do I need to provide?
Lots of detail about what has changed since the last assessment. So it might be changes related to functional ability, such as increased falls or a heart attack or a stroke or a broken bone that require more support for the older person. It could be cognitive decline. A person whose dementia is progressing will need more support. So this is regarded as a change as well.
Mhm.
And carer ability to continue to provide informal support is also important. If a carer is moving away and can't continue to provide the support that they currently are, this is a very important reason to request a support plan review.
And how would I go about getting a care plan review?
It's a similar process to having a support plan review, Shell, but remember the care plan review now sits with the provider.
Yep.
The older person or their family carer or maybe a friend would talk with the package provider about the increased needs of the older person that relate to any of the events that I just mentioned. Functional reasons, progressive cognitive decline, or a carer not being able to continue in their caring role.
So, from what you've said today, Coral, I think the takeaway is having that open communication with both the assessors and your home care package provider so that all your needs are considered and as many as possible are met within the constraints of your budget.
Correct, Shell. It's important for people to understand that at every step in this process, there are many questions that are asked of the older person. The quality of the answers provided is what will inform the right outcome, meaning being approved for the right program to receive the right level of services at home.
So, understanding the difference between a support plan and a care plan and the impact each document reflects on the kind of support you'll receive at home is essential. Knowing when to initiate a review of a support plan or a care plan will ensure you keep progressing to each higher level of support and provides you with the services you need to remain as independent as possible at home for as long as possible. If you're listening to this episode and thinking, I haven't ever had a care plan review, then you might want to talk to your provider. Alternatively, you can also speak with us. We offer care plan reviews as a service. We want you to receive as much help as you need at home, so don't be struggling on a level 2 package if you should be receiving a level 4 package. Set the wheels in motion and have your care plan reviewed. The link to our care plan review service is in the show notes. And we'll also include links to our blog posts about this topic too. Thanks for joining us today. Until next week, take care. Hey Care community, thanks for listening to this episode. So you never miss a show, make sure you subscribe to our podcast. If you'd like to know more about what we do, head to our website, cmeacn.com.au.